Hi everyone, just checking if you can hear us online. Jerome, can you just confirm that the audio is working?
Yes, I confirm. I just replied to Pedro that was asking for the Miteco link.
Do you want to start, Jerome?
Yes, maybe you can just wait 2 minutes more. As I did not include the link in the, let's say, in the email, I'm not sure that people are looking for the Miteco link that is on Data Tracker. Maybe it takes a bit more time than usual.
If you want, I can send an email to the list in case people are looking for the link, replying to it.
Yes, maybe. Okay, thank you, Lauren. Just your mail. So let's start. So hello everyone. Thank you to join this NMRG interim meeting. So I'm Jean-François. I'm here with Laurent Siavaglia, so NMRG co-chair. So as usual, we just want to remind you. So as an NMRG meeting, we have to remind you the different notes. The first one is about intellectual property. So you may need to fully read this slide. It is about the IETF intellectual property right disclosure rules. So just reminding you that NMRG is a IETF group. So we have also to follow the same rules. So just please have a look now. Okay. So continue the note. Well, so just we want also to remind you that we make a recording of this meeting. So you have to be aware of that. So if you participate by turning your mic on or your camera on, it means that you consent to appear in the recording. Also, regarding the privacy and code of conduct. So again, as we said before, yes, there are recordings. But what is really important also here in the bullet point is that we all agree to work respectfully with other participants. So please be respectful to others, as just reminded here. And of course, in case you need, we have the different, let's say, details, RFCs that are mentioned here, if you want to have more details. But it's important that you are aware of that. And although very important, as NMRG is Network Management Research Group, we are a research group, not a working group or working on developing standard. We are working on long-term research issues, and that will be very important for the meeting today, as we will discuss the research agenda of the group. And while the parallel organization, that is IETF, focused more on shorter-term issues of engineering and standard. So it's very important. So we focus on research. We can publish RFC, and we did in the past, and we have some in the pipe as well. But this is not the primary goal, and it's RFCs that are most informational or experimental, not standard. So here's a link. So, but if you are connecting, so you know, I have the mythical link. What is important, we have the notes that we that you can also directly also type in, if just to help us to keep track of the different discussions. And for the meeting today, so after this short introduction, so as you may have seen, we will mostly discuss the research agenda of the group. So as a reminder, we started this process months ago, and so we want to discuss that today. And there will be an update also by Paul on the use case and practice for intent-based networking. After that, with the aim also to see if there will be some, let's say, potential future activity in IBM in NMRG. So before I go to next slide, Lauren, I don't know if you want to add something.
Nothing at that stage, thanks.
Okay. So let's move on. So for today, so what we want to do with Laurent is to discuss the research agenda. I will share what we have already, let's say, drafted and that you may have already read, that is related to the different topics we are continually discussing in this group, related to AI, data, green networking, and NDT. So we have some draft text. As I said before, there's some question regarding IBM because it's in the group for, let's say, for a while, and it seems that now we are, I would say, approaching a stage where there are, of course, this nice document about the use cases, but not so much as the interest in developing more after the use case. So I think it will be good to discuss that as well today. The idea is that we have many topics. It's hard to cover all. And of course, we need some, let's say, workforce to cover this topic in the future. So we need maybe to give priority on certain topic. Maybe some we have to, let's say, exclude them and put in a more, let's say, general umbrella. Just also to ensure that rather than to have some kind of focus in the group in order to, let's say, provide some contribution. Important, of course, is to keep track of what happens in other places. So as the IETF, of course, but also in other, let's say, fora, at Etsy, or in other, let's say, other research venues, because I think we also need to look at what are the main theme in the area of network management, because we are a research group, so it's important we keep connection with these research venues as well. So the idea, as I said before, yes, this kind of research agenda update is here for a while, maybe 2 years ago or a bit less. The idea is not to wait too much to finalize it. It will be good to reach a consensus of the research agenda in the, I would say, maybe for the next IETF. And as I said before, it's good to have it because, of course, if you look a bit in the past, we have this, it helps to a bit organize the discussion and the meetings. Does not mean that you will avoid to have other topics presented when there are opportunities, as we did before, but it's good to have something up to date, to have kind of a clear roadmap of what we would like to do in the groups. And also, as I said before, we need to give some priority based on your research or in general participant research interest and how they can contribute. And what is important, I think the first thing to do is to focus on the research question. And based on this research question, to build an understanding in these different research areas. Rather than, let's say, starting by giving solution, let's think about, in particular in research area, we have to highlight what are the research questions we want to focus on. So, yeah, this is kind of, let's say, introduction, I would say, word about that, and then I can share the current status of that. But Laurent, again, if you want to add something, please feel free.
Maybe just to stress again what you mentioned, Jérôme, important that we have several areas. We need to describe them well. We need really to focus, give priority in those. The second thing, it's research first. We have very good, let's say, relationship with the working group in IETF, but I think the idea of coming again to this research agenda is to try to refocus the group on the research mission, which doesn't close the door to pre-standardization or even outcome towards the standard, but it's just that we should first concentrate on this mission. And also to try, let's say, close this. We had this open for some time. We know we are maybe not the best to keep track of it, but the thing is to try really to say, okay, now we have gone through that and we want to start really actively doing the research in the group on these new directions. So we can jump into the content if you want, Joe.
Yeah, and of course, any participant, please feel free to comment at any time. I think it's very open discussion. So yeah, let me share now. Okay, so I think you can see my screen. So as I said before, and you probably have already read at least part of this. This is kind of live document we have been working on for a while now, and in which, if you look, there are different topics. So one is related to AI. Just to give you a brief, let's say, overview first. This one is related to data. That somehow is related to AI, but not, let's say, always related to AI. That's why we split into these two topics. One is related to network digital twin, as we have some, let's say, kind of continuous activities in that area in the group. And the other one was green networking, as we had activities in the last year as well in this area. So for each of them, if I go back now, for example, to the first one, we try to somehow highlight what is the main objective, and then some kind of, I would say, work items that could be interesting to work on. So for example, if I take the example of AI, so as you know, we have this document in the group that it was under last call, so hopefully then it will continue. But anyway, it provides a good basis for the, let's say, for shaping the future of this topic in the group. And my feeling, also as a participant, not only as chair, is that there was a good interest in some of the topics or some of the challenges that you highlight in this document. One was actually, I think, related to the data part that we can discuss a bit afterwards. And the other one was more related to some, let's say, challenges that for which I received more feedbacks, I would say. That basically are here. a lot is about the deployment issue, interoperability issue with the current, let's say, technology we have for network management. And also all problems related to real deployment of AI-based solutions. That's why I try to capture that here. And so that's why you can see a lot related to deployment things here, because I think this was kind of, let's say, regular discussion. We cannot deploy the different AI-based solutions that we propose because they cannot generalize, because I have no trust in that. And that's why you can see also all these things related to explainability, trustworthiness, and lineage tracing. So that's why we focus a bit. But as we said before, even in each topic, we do not say that we should work exclusively on that. We try here just to highlight what receives the main, let's say, intention or interest from the, let's say, the discussion we have in meetings or the offline sometimes. So we try just to highlight here what is important. What we want to avoid here, of course, is, as we say clearly, as we are not, let's say, working on standard, in each we try to avoid working on kind of, let's say, reference or common architecture. I think it's kind of nonsense, in particular for AI. We want also to avoid working on specific use cases, because then we have already tried that before in different, let's say, topics, but also in different other groups, and it's not very successful, because it's the idea, I think, here still as a group, even as a research group, is try to highlight, let's say, some common, either, let's say, I would say research findings, or even a research question to continue to investigate. And most of the time, if you focus on, let's say, a few use cases, or we try to identify a few use cases, does not, let's say, make people working so much together also. And so here you have a little more of refinement. So we already have some comment last time here. But here is refinement of the other way, because the first part is more about the use of AI for network management. And here is more about how networking in general, not only maybe network management, but can be leveraged to make AI-based services or application more performant, more robust, or whatever. So the coupling, but in the other way. This is I think this is the part that you already discussed a lot last time. I mean, last time it was, I think, a year ago. And maybe what I would like to present that is will link to that is data-driven networking. But again, as I said before, data-driven networking is beyond the scope, the only scope of AI, as we said here. It's clear that although all the data problems that you may face with network management does not necessarily mean that we have an AI-based solution afterwards. And here you can see also what was a bit the focus of discussion. One was the data quality plan we have for, let's say, network management application. Just if you think about general data as kind of network traffic or routing policies or whatever that are hard to share as well. We need to, for quality metrics, we need to have kind of maybe quality by design metrics, or we need also to assess the data quality. This is the other way to think about this problem. And possibly also try to, this is kind of a proposal to provide in the group kind of reading of the quality of the most used, let's say, datasets that we use in research in network management. Okay, of course, there are different, let's say, fields of network management, but for each of them, if you look into research communities, there are at least some datasets that are constantly used and reused, and it will be good to have, let's say, an assessment of their quality. And yeah, maybe more related to so this is more about the quality. And then there are a lot of questions regarding the usability of the dataset itself. One thing that is discussed, and I can also speak as participant of the research working in the area is it's hard, for example, when you provide a dataset to know exactly for which you can use it or apply it. You have general, let's say, topic, but sometimes it's very hard, for example, for a dataset from a research perspective to understand if I can use specifically this dataset for my own needs, and to know really basically the limitation of a dataset. We can think also about the, let's say, new data model or formats that can be used in our area, or also generally frameworks that can be used. So again, it's not the aim to provide standards, but just to open discussion. Can we have better data? Can we have data that are formatted in a more, let's say, efficient way for the applications that we want to build on top of them? Can we collect the data in a more efficient manner, and so on? These are all, I think, important research questions that we would like to, we think that could be interesting to have in the group. So with that, I would like to make maybe here a break for discussion. So I don't know if anyone want to just add comments here. Comments can be it's good, it's bad, or just we need to add that. But I think for us as chair, it will be also important to hear your opinion in order to see if we are going in the right direction with this drafting, or if we miss something very important, or if you are focused on things that are not really in the interest of the group. So feel free, all feedback is important and welcome. Yes, Laurent?
Yeah, maybe I'll start to break the ice. I'll talk more as a participant here. For the first topic on the relationship between AI and network management, I think the current draft is a very good, let's say, baseline. And any of the challenges may be worth to investigate into the NMRG. I think an area of interest could also be, I mean, the kind of transformation we may foresee on how network management and network operation are actually performed or done if we have more use of AI or more pervasive, let's say, presence of AI in our networks. Personally, I think this may have some quite deep impact, maybe not immediate, but I think we will see a change in how we interact and operate networks. This may be something of at least discussion into the NMRG. I don't know if we will be able to provide answers to that, but you see this understanding the areas of implication of changes where you have more AI present to do network operation. Maybe some functionality will change, will be disappearing, maybe new things will need to be supported, etc. So maybe this is more kind of an overall discussion topic or awareness of the group. Then the second, my second comment, and I'll stop here, is on data-oriented networking. Again, I think it's a very valid point. Also because data is very central to network management, network operation, and it's a bit of a transverse topic, I will say. So we can use it in relation to AI. That's one area, of course. But very well in IETF, we know that data, if we connect this to telemetry and operation, there are also, I think, genuine issues or new approaches to consider for that. So beyond what you have already listed here, I think data is very central to how we do network management, and having a better, I mean, exploring some questions on the role of data, enablers, data automation for future network automation, network management is an interesting direction for the group. And I will be, I mean, willing to contribute to these questions.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Maybe just a last thing is also it's a bit more on the how we can do that. So we had already one session dedicated especially to data quality assessment, which I think was pretty good. I mean, it's quite broad, this data topic. So we may have maybe also some, I mean, just as an idea, there is NMRG research group that is also, I mean, quite into this measurement, analysis, and the like. So maybe having a joint meeting or a kind of session where we just explore actually how we would like to handle those data questions could be worth in an IETF meeting context, or even maybe in a conference or something like this. So, but maybe also you see a bit joining forces or getting new viewpoints on this question, I think could be worthwhile to consider in the initial phase, at least. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurent. Thank you. Yes, I agree on the different point, particularly the last point. I think it's important also. Yeah. Just kind of remarks, as you see, I just put here in brackets some comments. Also, feel free, even after meeting, you can just directly give your inputs here. As you can see, sometimes there is some kind of comment, so just put here in bracket, or just in a way that we can see when you put some comments. Any other comment? Yes, Luis.
Yes. Well, from my side, basically, yeah, reinforcing a little bit the message from Laurent. Both topics are relevant. The AI aspect is entering strongly on the management of the operators network. So it would be great to keep working on that for better understanding what could be the implications. Also, I was wondering, trying to take this into the reality of IETF. Maybe things that we could explore as well would be the interplay of AI capabilities, maybe, for instance, at different levels of the network. I was thinking, for instance, the capabilities of AI that we could put in transport networks, maybe as the ones targeting by CCAMP, to interplaying together with AI capabilities, maybe for higher levels, the IP level, and so maybe the target of Ts and so. So basically, maybe exploring the interplay between AI capabilities that could be deployed at different levels, and yeah, how this could be done. And regarding the data-driven networking, this is also interesting. And here I was thinking in a kind of an example that I'm working in, or topic that I'm working in these days, which is, for instance, the latency. Having the notion of latency in the network is very different in the different segments of the network, the radio part, the transport or connectivity part, the virtualization part, and so. And even we are measuring different things because we are measuring at different layers, layer 2, layer 3, or even physical layer, and so. So these kind of things of trying to work and trying to understand what could be the relationship between the different data that you could have in the different layers, different network segments, and so it could be also interesting to explore, let's say, not only the quality, but also how to correlate the information that could be obtained in the different environments, let's say, but at the end, all of them are building the end-to-end view. That is basically the one that we need to ensure for the customers and so. So in summary, both of the topics are relevant. There are a lot of space to work with. And maybe, yeah, it's just maybe a matter of identifying maybe specific topics that could be interest for the community, and yeah, start maybe exploring those. That was my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Luis. I take note of that, and yeah. Okay, if there is no more feedback on these two topics, and so first of all, thank you for the different feedback and positive feedback. So we will try to review a bit based on this, and of course we will share again on the mailing list. So then we have the topic that is network digital twin. So this is a draft, I think, that we wrote a few months ago. So before, let's say, the before the last discussion we have in the group about this topic and what could be the output. So maybe that does not, let's say, highlight the last discussion, but anyway, we try here again to have the different topics that we think that could be interesting to consider in an NMRG for network digital twin. And as just maybe to give you some context of last discussion, we know that, and again, we want to focus on research and do not want to, let's say, provide kind of, let's say, reference or standard here. So there is, let's say, a set of possible topics. So one is more related to the different technologies that will be necessary for making this, let's say, training. So here, kind of clearly some research that can be done, for example, using AI for making a digital twin, maybe on simulation technology as well, and so. This is more related to technologies itself, so it can be the form of contributing with some proposition or presentation of type of way to implement a digital twin, I would say, in research. And then I think a lot of discussion also in the group that we had was what we call what is digital twin, and somehow I think the agreement that there is no single definition of what is a digital twin. And in my opinion, I think a digital twin is not, we cannot give a single definition, but we can try to characterize or give some characteristic about a digital twin. And we may think as a research group, actually, to try to establish a list of criteria that will help anyone to try to somehow characterize what type of digital twin he has built or he will need, and so on. That's why here we try to already highlight some type of possible criteria that can be used. For example, real-time versus non-real-time. What are the network layer? What are the technology used for the tuning, and so on. Of course, this list is not exhaustive, so it could be part of the work of the group to work on that. And I think it's partially actually covered in the concept document that we have. Then there are, I think, also interesting question regarding how we can compose several twins together, but and how we can somehow compare those different twins. If you have different twins that you can use in terms of research, can be also how we can have some comparative, qualitative and quantitative maybe comparison between twins. I think it's not an easy question, so probably I think it's good for research as well. And maybe, yes, all the management again, the interconnection, if you want to compose and interconnect different twins. There is still some open point regarding validation scenarios and use cases. Maybe I think it's maybe not the most relevant per se in terms of research topic, but can be good to sustain the, let's say, this discussion. And I think other questions are also really recurrent to the different topic is related to deployment and interoperability. So this one basically is what we have drafted regarding network digital twin. So here again, we would like also to have your opinion here and later, to be honest, but here it's good already to have it, because I think we need a bit to maybe enhance this, because as you know, discussion were quite active in the last month regarding network digital twin, and particularly the let's say concepts that are the main documents that we have in the group related to NDT. And yeah, we'd like to first of all, we'd like to hear from you if NMRG is the right place for continue to work on that, or if some network digital twin topic should be investigated somewhere in terms of research, of course. And then if you think that it should be continued to be investigated in NMRG, what could be the kind of research questions or paths or orientation you would like to see in this regard? Yeah, Laurent?
Yeah, again, first as a participant, fully in support of this topic. I think it's a bit at the boundary between engineering and research. So we may need to be careful what falls in which area for the NMRG. Second thing is a bit like my comment on the role of AI. I think we could also maybe have an investigation on the role, or let's say the impact of network digital twin, how we do network management. Maybe digital twin are the next version of network management system. I mean, so the integration or the change that may come from having a very powerful, sophisticated digital twin in the future, what may change in the network management and operation. Another comment is, I think we can also connect at least part of the network digital twin studies to, for instance, the data-related one. I think you have listed somewhere about the accuracy of a twin. I think we have question also on the trustworthiness of what goes in the twin versus what goes out of the twin. So on this data quality and confidence, I think there could also be a link between this data-driven research and the application for digital twin. So we can also seek some synergies here. And I think we received also comments in previous meetings. I think the network digital twin concept and architecture document, again, very central, a very good one. The remark I remember was that we should probably also consider architectures in plural. You see, what are the alternatives? Maybe the role of NMRG is not to set one reference model for a digital twin, but to also consider what if for the architecture of twins, if we consider, I don't know, more modularity or less modularity, or I mean different hypotheses, and in fact to consider architectures in plural for digital twin, and then reflect on that. That could be an outcome of research, and then more the industry or the engineering will settle what will be the kind of reference models that are used or in production. So to kind of open also on this architecture some investigation and shift a bit the goal towards more exploration than trying to nail down this is the default or the reference architecture. But this is really a personal opinion I remember from this comment. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurent. Before I give the floor to Cheng, maybe just to comment on your last comment. Yes, fully agree, and that's why the idea when somehow I drafted this part about criteria. In directive, the idea is if you're able to let's say characterize a digital twin, then maybe you can do some kind of proposing method to map to the maybe kind of architecture or architectural components we will need to fulfill maybe kind of criteria that we have here. So I think it should be quite good as well to have what you propose, because then we can make connection, because basically what you want to achieve with your digital twin, what maybe type of architecture can achieve the different, let's say, objective or requirements you may have. So yes, Cheng, please. Yeah.
Hi, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. First, I fully agree with Jeremy and Lawrence comments and proposal here, especially for enabling technologies like AI simulation, virtualization here, and again, I want to emphasize that maybe use case and validation scenarios are also very important directions to move NDT ahead in research group. Is my opinion, and also I also think that criteria to characterize the digital twin is also important. That's my opinion for the possible topics ahead. And I want to share you some information regarding the draft of concept and architecture of NDT. And just weeks ago, we did some updates via GitHub, and we also updated the draft on uploaded the updated draft on the data tracker with a new version. And in this version, we addressed some of the issues since last IETF meeting, and we think we are very close to close this document or draft because we in previous weeks we discussed the updates with Chris, with Daniel King, and with all co-authors, and we think that we have addressed most issues here. Just an update here, and for some detailed updates, we think we can give updates on the next NMRG meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheng, for your comment and update. Okay, we'll go back to you regarding the presentation of the update in the next NMRG meetings. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so just maybe I just want to comment on your point on validation scenario and use cases. I think it's not specifically only specific to this topic because here we are more, let's say, discussing the topic, but in general, last time we also discussed the way we want to somehow to work in an NMRG, and several times there was discussion about, let's say, implementation and also hackathon or kind of hackathon, not only IETF hackathon, but can be IETF hackathon, but also at other places. And I think that can be good, also as a group effort. If you have some solution, for example, I don't know, digital solution, we would like to try or interconnect, yes, as you say. Maybe having some validation scenario use cases can be good way to approach that, for example, with some hackathon or implementations. So,
okay, got it. A good suggestion.
We actually did that a bit for IBM in the past, and also just not only hackathon, but just also discussing how we can interconnect some building block all together was always very, very fruitful discussions. So I think, yes, we have to keep that also in mind as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your suggestion.
Any other comment regarding NDT? Okay, so if not, let's move on to the green networking topic. So somehow this draft, maybe the more recent one, I would say this text draft is the most recent one. And it's at last the IETF also presented the result, or briefly presented the result of a survey because we were a bit lacking of time. But the idea is that in this survey, if I can give very general overviews, that most of the people say that green networking is an important topic that we should consider in an NMRG. Just as kind of reminder, we have also this draft that here highlighted here. Maybe it's not the right version, but we have this draft on green networking that highlight challenges, and that is currently under IETF review. We received it. So, but anyway, it is a very important draft that some highlight the different challenges that are important, and of course a lot of challenges. So we cannot focus on all challenges if you want to work probably on this part as well. And that's why we try also with the last survey that we shared for the last IETF to try to see what are the different interests of people in this topic. And here, basically, you see the different topic we propose, and we just slightly updated based on the feedback we received by the survey. But I mean, for most of them, we receive a good, let's say, positive, let's say, opinions that okay, it's a topic that NMRG could investigate. In general, so of course, a lot of discussion were about energy, but in general, people say we should also go beyond just on the energy consideration. So we try to reflect that in this text. As you can see later, we also have some text related to just to open the topic to, let's say, more wider ambition, I would say, by considering SDG from United Nations, so Sustainable Development Goals. So not only, let's say, I would say environmental consideration, even beyond energy, even beyond environmental consideration. So this is very broad, actually. But okay, why not? A lot of discussion and a lot of, I would say, feedback we received was about metrics, how we can, let's say, calculate, approximate, or we can use the metric in different scenarios in a proper way. So metrics, of course, that's why we should not only focus on energy, but let's say the first metric that we all think about is about energy. And so basically, there are probably important challenge, or we can integrate metrics into, let's say, different, let's say, network management, I would say, proposition or solution, and we can, as Laurence has said before, we can also use in other topic how it can change the way we are doing network management and operation. So here again, you have also explore real-world scenarios, or we can also assess the trade-off, for example, between, let's say, I would say, for example, in the case of energy gain versus maybe performance loss. I think there are important problem here to consider, or research question. What will be, let's say, suppose that we try to highlight here. If important maybe or interesting question will be that how we can sacrifice some of the performance of network to save some resources, or we can measure it, or we can find the right trade-off, and so on and so on. So this, I think this is a more recent one, is what we presented already a bit last time, and as I said in the IETF. Those are probably important topic. I think the question our words are surely question for research. There will be also question for engineering as for the other topics. So here when we think about, for example, metrics, and so we all know that there are also, let's say, working group or research group again who working on measurement or protocol also for monitoring and so on. So I think it will be very important to identify and scope well, or at least carefully consider that when if you work on that topics. And there are clearly also some relation with AI again, maybe also with network digital twin. So I think in general this topic is well agreed by the group or by the discussion. It's a feeling that we have. But then it's important also to see what we can do, and as I said before, we are also to see who can provide some, let's say, effort to this topic in the group, because as you know, there are also different, let's say, initiative at the IETF and also at in the, let's say, other fora as well. So it's important to really scope what could be the role of NMRG in this topic. And it's not so an easy question. That's why we want to ask your feedback here, because it's a very transversal topic as well. So yes, please feel free to just provide your opinions and view on that. Yeah, it's really open to question and comments here. Again, if you think that it's an important topic, but maybe it should not be handled in NMRG, should be done somewhere else, or NMRG should really focus on very specific topic, please feel free to let us your opinion about that. Yes, Luis?
Yeah, Jerome. Here probably we need to look at what is in the charter of Green BOF or Green Working Group, sorry, because there is some space that probably could be areas of research. And I agree with you that probably the sustainability topics could be that area. For instance, all about carbon emissions and so how to handle that in the overall network management that we could apply, for instance, for carbon-aware traffic engineering in the future and so on so far. Maybe could be a topic to work with. And also things like the life cycle of the equipment, these kind of things. I'm not sure if that is properly management of the infrastructure of the install base. But yeah, those areas that will not be covered by Green Working Group maybe could be the subject of work here as well, maybe.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. No?
I agree with the comments from Luis. Important to situate our position with respect to activities in the IETF, the Green Working Group, but also the E-Impact, let's say, set of activities. I think this work started, was proposed to NMRG some time ago at a good time at the time. But now the situation has changed in the IETF, at least. So question whether the areas we could investigate in NMRG it's NMRG role to investigate that. So we have to make a bit of an assessment here. I will say a bit contrary to my other comments on AI and data-driven and the digital twin. I think green networking or sustainability may be too broad. So we have to really find a subset where NMRG is relevant and we have a scope of applicability that is really within the scope of NMRG. Why I'm saying that is to avoid, you see, so-called greenwashing or try to explore things that are a bit too stretched from the scope of NMRG. And I don't think that the intersection between green networking and NMRG is enough to motivate that we work on something. We need to be a bit more specific in which area we think NMRG can do some research here. So my main comment here is let's try to be a bit more specific which sub-areas or directions/questions we think NMRG can really investigate, because I anticipate that there will be other, let's say, groups or a set of people with maybe the right competence also in IETF or elsewhere being more active or having more drive on this than we could try to develop. So the idea is not to work against the tide. But I still think that there is, of course, some topics which may be very well relevant, but we have to be maybe quite specific on naming them. One idea I have, and this is just aside from this first comment, is I think a key role of network management is from this broader network-wide view on let's say, on coordinating or correlating information. I mean, energy-related, for instance, information that can come from more local or domain-specific areas. So this let's say, overarching view, I think the network management has a bit of this role already today in the network, and that could be important for orchestrating different decisions or optimization in a good way network-wide. So this could be an area where NMRG may develop something. And the other thing also, I think, related to the core role of network management is this interfacing between, let's say, the network infrastructure. I mean, we operate networks, but there is also the other side of this interface, which can be the operator or even maybe consumer of the networks. And there, those other environments also have, I would say, consideration for energy efficiency, energy optimization, and other areas of sustainability. And here again, the idea will be networks will be a component of a broader sustainability goals that, let's say, industries may want to achieve. And then the network management may be a good layer or plane where exposing information and being, let's say, an actor of those goals, then to expose the right type of information, but also be able to act on the right elements of the network infrastructure. But again, to contribute to a broader ecosystem, not just the network or the IT ecosystem. So for me, this is also a role of network management, this kind of more vertical interfacing or exposure of tools, information, etc. I'm not sure this is fully researched, but this interplay on the roles for me may be worth having at least, again, a good discussion forum, or try to understand if there is something to do. But that will be, at least that will be, as a participant, for me, a scope where NMRG, it's in scope of NMRG, and where we could investigate things that are a bit more specific. But I'm not closing any doors. This is just a personal opinion on a given focus for let's say, for discussion with others.
Thank you, Laurent. Thank you. I think very interesting comment also regarding, yes, the broader, let's say, as you say, yes, the broader involvement of NMRG in the, I think it's a broad goal of maybe sustainability and so on, and something that I try to also highlight here. Maybe what I want to share with you, because I think we have time today, is a bit the result of the survey, more details, because as you said, we have to scope a bit what could be the contribution on NMRG. And that's why we had this survey. But at some point, just try to put here. Yeah. Just show you here maybe the result, just to give you some overall feedback, because we have the different, let's say, topics that we put in the survey last time, and it highlights at least what I think we receive. I think 13 answers to the survey, so not so much, but anyway, it highlights what people think that it will be more important to have in NMRG in regard to this topic. So as a big one is the measurement telemetry, but beyond protocol and format. So maybe, as you say, Laurent, also make echo to what you say regarding how we can aggregate, for example, information from different layers of different domains in order to have an overall assessment of the impact and overall, let's say, contribution, positive or negative, on network to maybe a broad objective of sustainability, for example. So those are the two. This is the first topic, and so the second one here that you can see is the correlation between the energy efficiency and functional performance. That's why when I, let's say, revise the text in the research agenda that we propose here, I try to highlight the challenges of the implication of this, let's say, energy efficiency and functional performances. Cross-layer optimization. Okay, and then you see what, for example, network management protocol, it's mostly a no, I would say. And maybe on topology optimization and network design, it was also good support, and further not. So here, basically, as what we receive as feedback, just to give you an idea, and because as you say, Laurent, we also, as a group, not only as chairs, we are also to maybe give some focus of NMRG in this area. And maybe at least I think this survey should somehow guide a bit us in defining what is, let's say, the scope of focus of NMRG. So just to give you some feedback on that. what could be more specific in the group. Any other comment or question? Yes.
Thanks, Jérôme, for sharing also the highlights of the survey. As you said, I think this should inform our directions for the NMRG. And I will say maybe even going one step beyond that. Okay, as chairs, we essentially support and enable the work to happen. We don't decide on behalf of the group. So here it's a kind of suggestion to say, I would say, invite also people that have responded to this survey, or people that have interest, especially in the green networking, to tell us a bit what kind of initiatives they would like to start. Is it to, again, we have one document, a central document. Is it to create additional documents to investigate different paths? Is it to create a kind of discussion with other communities? You see, I mean, what kind of initiative you like to start to bring the work forward? Because we need also to understand from the participants, from the research group, where the momentum is, what is motivating people to move forward. I think the survey is a first indicator of that, and that's why I think we need also to hear from the respondents about, okay, and then what do you propose to really move on with those proposals? What form? And back to us, how we can help also on that.
Yep. Thank you, Laurent, for your comment. Okay, if there is no other comment, normally you have a presentation by Paul, but I do not see Paul here. Is it confirm, right? Okay.
Jérôme, let me check if I have Paul's personal contact. I try to maybe send him a message.
Yeah, I was wanting to check his last email as well. What you say?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't find any other contact from Paul.
Okay.
So, do you want us to go through the slide at least, just to look at the slide and maybe trigger some comments from people that have some view on that, and let's see how we can wrap this up?
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so I think the so yes, this is an update of the document about the IBN use cases. But as yeah, so I think in general, just maybe kind of recall for all. So there is this, let's say, this joint document about the different use cases. That probably maybe I don't know if some of you here have been involved, but the idea was we had several documents in the group, and they proposed this kind of general template there, where they try to combine the different use cases, try to highlight the commonalities or the different concepts that we can think across the different use cases. And so they do this merge and try to, yes, as I said before, try to highlight common points in different use cases and to have a kind of the same reading of the different use cases. So of course they started to work on that as they made an update on this document. And here basically is a current selection of use cases that is described in the document. So this is maybe some of the core part of describing the use cases themselves. But of course there is some kind of, let's say, as you can see here, more on the methodological part. So and what was very important, I think, for the group also, and was to have kind of lessons learned from the different use cases of what can be kind of finding for the different use cases. That was the objective. And that, so they propose to have this common document. Here, just a reference to documents they propose to merge. And yeah, so basically this, unfortunately, this is mostly the, let's say, the proposal they made for the document itself, but I think Paul was wanted to, sorry, to share their opinion or their view about the future of IBN in NMRG beyond the scope of this document, but unfortunately it's not reflected in the slide, so I cannot really comment on that. So maybe please feel free to comment on the documents, this document, in particular if you have had time to read the last version. And also, just if you want to give some comments on IBN in NMRG in general, in particular in the scope of what we are doing today on the research agenda, if you think it's still worth to continue working on it, or you think that it's in the, let's say, in the status of finishing some of this topic in NMRG. So please let us know what is your opinion. Okay, don't think there is so much comments. Yes, Laurent.
Okay, maybe so this is moving forward. This is what we also, let's say, guided the group to do. I mean, we were merging or not merging different documents, and okay, the group is making progress. I think, Jérôme, in your chair slides, you mentioned on relationship on the NMRG research agenda. There is a bit this lagging question about what do we do with the IBN topic. It's been on the NMRG agenda for many years now. There have been, of course, good progress, good outcome. I think a key question is whether the group consider that we are more or less done with the research part of what we wanted to investigate, and then it's more time for IETF or other, let's say, groups to work on that, the industry to adopt, and okay, that's a good achievement in itself. Whether we assess that there are still research questions to explore with respect to IBN in the NMRG, and then to maybe label those questions and enter those investigations. I think this document itself is, for me, a kind of, I see kind of achievement with that. Say, okay, we had a number of use cases. We give time to those use cases also to mature, but we would like to have a bit of a milestone achieved to say, okay, this is an NMRG view of these use cases and the learning we get from that at this point in time. But we have also, again, beyond this document is the question, what is left to do for NMRG on this topic? And as you know, in NMRG, we usually don't close. I mean, if someone comes with a good proposal, we will always find time in the agenda to discuss about it. But I don't think it's worthwhile also to keep this such topic open for too long if there is nothing really specific happening on it. So this document will complete. That's the current activity, but I think the group needs to ask itself, okay, what else do we have to do on this IBN thematic? And Jérôme, I think we will need to maybe be a bit more specific to the group. You see, if we aim to have this update of the research agenda, whether IBN will remain a topic on its own in this, or it's kind of, okay, always open to presentation on things, but we will not consider, I mean, we will consider IBN more or less achieved, and then in the updated agenda, research agenda of the group, we may not highlight IBN as a standalone topic.
Right. Yeah. I think this is the main question, basically. Yeah. And if I can add something related to the different outcomes of the group related to IBN, if you look at let's say the initial work plan that was planned for IBN, I think most of the, let's say, items are validated, I would say. So we, of course, if there are some good ideas, as you say, Laurent, to continue to work on, let's continue to work on. But although I think it's important to add that there were very good outcomes related to IBN, and that somehow fulfill most of what we initially planned when we have written this work plan about IBN for NMRG in the charter. Okay, if there is no other comment or feedback about that or in general against the research agenda, I propose we can close the meeting now. Laurent, if this is fine with you, or if you want to add something as a chair in general.
No, I think no need to keep people busy necessarily. Thanks, Jérôme, for bringing up the research agenda updates. So that's let's see how we follow up on that offline. And I think Pedro is on the queue.
Yeah.
I was just to say if we can discuss about the continuation of IBN in the mailing list, because I think that there are some things that should be still being worked in NMRG, but that depends on the consensus of other people that are not here. So I think that we should open this discussion to the mailing list. What do you think? Yes. About the continuation of IBN as part of the NMRG or not?
Yeah, for sure. I think here discussion will continue on mailing list, as Laurent said, maybe with some more specific questions. So we already shared some of the proposed research agendas that does not include IBN until now, because we don't know exactly what could be IBN. So Of course, we specifically asked maybe for IBM, do you want to add an item regarding IBM? If so, what could be the topic? So of course, yes, this is not the hard stops that we have to decide today. Huh? We will continue discussion by email for all topics, not only IBM.
Of course, but what I mean is that it would be nice to inform, no, to the other people. Like for example, Paul has not come today, so maybe it's good, no, to communicate to these people as soon as possible.
Yes. Yes. As we say, the idea is to have a kind of a consolidated research agenda by the next IETF. So of course it's close, but I think there is time to give at least some feedback on kind of, I would say, this type of question. Do you think it's worth to continue on this topic or not? So currently we have 4 topics that are present. And okay, we can think about continuing IBM as well, or we can think about also not continuing some other maybe. So yes, we will bring that on the mailing list for sure.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you all, and have a good day, and talk to you soon. Thank you for attending this meeting. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
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 Hello, Laurent. This is Paul. Can you hear me? Hello, Laurent. Can you hear me?